Welcome to COS Indiana Live. There's never been a more important time in our history than now if you believe it's time to stand up and be free. Stay tuned and come back every Monday at 7 p.m. as our state director and host, Dale Parrish, present the need for self-governance. Our COS Indiana vision statement is to build a grassroots community of Hoosier citizens and legislators dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. So, take it away, Dale.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Maringo Mike, for that introduction. If you're just joining us for the first time here, we just recently added the American flag and national anthem to our introduction, and we did that because we believe in that. So I hope you enjoyed that introduction. My name is Dale Parrish. I am the state director for Convention of States here in Indiana. I want to welcome you to our broadcast tonight. We do this broadcast. And we're targeting those of you in Indiana here that are not part of the Convention of States movement, and so you're the main target, the people we're trying to reach. Now, of course, we welcome anyone and everyone that would like to join us tonight to learn more about Convention of States. So anyone and everyone's welcome, but we're really trying to target those Hoosiers here in the state of Indiana that are not part of our Convention of States program as yet. Now, before we get started here, I want to get into explaining to you the different segments of our broadcast tonight. But I have a little bit of an announcement I want to make, that tonight we are testing a live streaming option that we're using for our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. So if everything works properly, and you know how these things go, if everything is working properly, we are live streaming this broadcast through our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. And hopefully, if it's working, we'll promote this a lot more. But tonight is a test run, so we'll see how it goes. All right, let me get into explaining the different segments that we're going to be talking about tonight. Our first segment is what we call the discussion topic segment. Now, sometimes we'll actually have a topic that we'll maybe put a panel together and have a discussion on. Other times we will be bringing on perhaps Convention of States national people to come in and talk to us about what they do. As a matter of fact, our broadcast next Monday evening, we're going to be doing that exactly. We also, and I really like to do this, is bringing on leadership people here in Indiana, Convention of States leadership individuals in our organization, to bring them on and introduce them to you and tell you what they do. Now, also then, since we really focus a lot, just like Maringo Mike said, we are very, very much believers in the constitutional concept of self-governance. So our whole focus tries to be with regard to self-governance. And so tonight, we're bringing on an individual, that young man that's part of another organization that we believe we have a good relationship with. This organization. It's called Americans for Prosperity, and we're bringing him on. His name is Graham Renbarger. I'll be bringing him up here very soon into the screen here, and you'll get to meet Graham and hear him talk about Americans for Prosperity. So that's what we have in line for you tonight in this first segment. Now, after Graham, then we'll get into what I call the Indiana information segment. I'll bring up my PowerPoint. We'll go through, make you aware of some resources that we have available to us here in Indiana, give you a few numbers on how we're doing in the state. We're doing very well, I might mention. So that'll be the information segment. Now then viewers that have tuned in tonight will recognize them. If you are a viewer, feel free to make a comment or ask a question in the chat section, and I'll do my best to bring you in and put you on the screen as best I can. All right. Then the last segment will be what I call the invitation segment, and this is going to be where not only I'll of course make you aware of what we're going to be doing on our next broadcast, and we'll close things out. But this is where I'm going to invite you to join us here in Convention of States in Indiana, because we need everyone to be involved and exercising, taking advantage of our freedom and exercising self-governance. So that'll be the final segment, the invitation segment. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up our guest this evening. I'll unmute him here and bring him. Where did he go? There he is. Hi, Graham.
Hi, Dale. Thanks for having me on, and thank you for all the work you do.
Okay, you're welcome. Welcome. Okay, I hope you got your audio okay. Can you hear us okay?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
You're a little hesitant on your sound comes. You say a word and then the sound comes on. So.
And then so it's a little delayed, is all.
Oh, no, now we're okay. We're back on track now.
Now it's working. Okay, great.
You know, like I said, and like you've heard, technology is wonderful as long as it works. So.
Exactly.
So good deal. And as I said, your name's Graham Renbarger, and you're with Americans for Prosperity. Now, but okay, and I want to tell everybody your actual title too, and it's right, Director of Grassroots Operations for Indiana, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Now, folks, before we get started here, Graham made me aware of something happening with him that I thought was so very interesting that I wanted to share this with you. So, Graham, tell us about your upcoming wedding.
Yeah, so I was originally supposed to be married May 2nd of this year, and this pesky little COVID virus came around, and we had to call our wedding off, not off, but had to push it back a couple months, 2 weeks before May 2nd. And so we pushed it off to August 15th. So in 13 more days, I'm going to be a married man. Very much looking forward to that. I have a lovely future-to-be wife. Lindsay Finner's her name. And essentially, this was something that was interesting, since you basically have to submit an action plan to the state of Indiana if you have guest list over 250 people. So that was one of the things we had to submit to the state, is to make sure that we could actually have a reception.
My. He was telling me this story before we got started here tonight, and I just couldn't believe it. And I just thought it was so interesting. I had no idea that people had to do that, but
yeah, yep, 250 or more, submitted a safety plan, and you have to adhere to it, and then you can have more. But it's just absurd that you have to submit it to the state to have a wedding reception.
It is, and I assume you got to talk about wearing masks, and I assume social distancing and the whole thing, and hit all the main topics, huh?
The whole 9 yards. You got it, Dale.
Wow, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Well, listen, Graham, before we get started here, I wanted to bring up one other thing here, because we got somebody tonight that wants to say welcome to you. So,
hi, Paul.
You know that individual, right?
Yes, he is. He is awesome. That right there is. He's got some great kids, and he's got a daughter, Maya, that is just the future of America, what you want every kid to be. So her name is Maya, and Paul is raising some good kids over there. So thanks for all you do, Paul.
Well, Paul, I wanted to make sure you saw that Paul was watching you tonight. So,
thank you.
Okay. Well, let's, I told you that every time I have a Convention of States individual on the broadcast, I ask them to tell their Convention of States story. So in your case, being with Americans for Prosperity, tell us about your AFP story.
Yeah. Well, I think this all starts back in 2015. I went down to the State House to begin my political career. I guess you could say that was 5 years ago is when I started. I'm a young guy, 25 years old. So back down at the State House, I came back from there and got plugged into campaigns, did a mayor's race, 2 congressional races, and essentially ended up coming off that. And I started hearing about this Americans for Prosperity. I was like, what is this? And I'm studying over at St. Francis. I have a class that I'm taking right now, and we're doing a study on all the comparative genocides that have happened all around the world. And especially in the 20th century, we really dove into communism. We dove into socialism. We dove into collectivism, and essentially the end road of that. And it really was an eye-opener for me. And I wanted to ask myself, what's ways I can help prevent that? What's ways I can promote the idea of the individual and have that trump collective thought? And essentially, Americans for Prosperity was one of those groups. It was unique. I came on out to my first phone bank. We were trying to get Neil Gorsuch confirmed as a Supreme Court justice, and essentially, they fed us great food, and I was like, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to make some more calls. I want to tell Senator Joe Donnelly he needs to vote for Neil Gorsuch, because he's a good one. So that was how I got connected to Americans for Prosperity, and the rest is history.
All right, great. Well, tell us then, Graham. Tell us about the organization and what it's about.
Yeah, so Americans for Prosperity. We are the largest grassroots organization in the country. We span across 35 states now. We are a nonprofit, and we engage in C4 work primarily as Americans for Prosperity. And essentially what we believe is that there are 4 key institutions in society, and that these are government, business, community, and education. These are our 4 parts of society that exist, that we believe essentially that we believe in essentially is what governs and basically makes up American society. And so at Americans for Prosperity, we're most focused on the institution of government, because as you see those spheres, those 4 quadrants of those key institutions of society, government has grown exponentially larger into the other spheres, really taking on a lot of what community should be doing, or a lot of what education should be doing, or business working with government to essentially promote itself and keep other businesses out. So what we do here at Americans for Prosperity is we identify and engage folks all across the country in your backyards, try to get as many folks involved on the conversation as possible. And we do that with state-of-the-art technology to really empower individuals. We train people, we teach them about the issues, we focus on the issues, and we stay to that to break those barriers in government that inhibit so many individuals from living and realizing their potential and their God-given, their gifts, their attributes, you name it. We're trying to break those barriers so people can realize that freedom that they've been given as a human being, and just maintain and hold that dignity. And essentially, I think what we see in society right now is you look at your government, not your government check, you look at your check and you see how much the government pulls from it, and it's about 1/3 of your income. And you're essentially looking at that as like, oh, well, the government's handling it, right? And then when you actually go to check on government, you check on your community, your family, your friends, you're basically looking down the street at your neighbor, and you're seeing how much of our society is struggling, and you're like, what is 1/3 of my paycheck actually going to? And you go to look at it, and you actually see it's just building this bloated bureaucracy known as government, and it creates so many barriers in our lives, from regulation to red tape. And so that's what we want to do. We want to make government smaller. We want to basically help community and other parts of society like education, community, business, take on their proper roles in that, and have government just get a little smaller, get more out of our way, and just have people help people and have people realize their potential in that way that it should be.
Well, folks, this is why Graham is Director of Grassroots Operations. He has to grow the grassroots for AFP. So I think you do a very good job of it, Graham. Good talk there. Okay, our time's getting low here, getting short. Tell people how if they're interested in joining Americans for Prosperity, what should they do?
Yeah, so if anybody's interested on joining Americans for Prosperity, you've got the link right there, americansforprosperity.ivolunteers.com. That's a great one. That's our action center. Right now we're engaging on no bad deals there. But you can also connect with us on Facebook. You can connect with us on Twitter, and you can connect with some states on Instagram. We branched into that sphere as well. But go to the national website, find your local field director here in Indiana. We're spanned in Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, and down in southern Indiana. You can always get connected to us through that. Reach out on the actual volunteer center and say, hey, how can I get connected with AFP? And reach out through our national website.
Okay, great. Well, I think, a way to wrap this whole thing up is I mentioned, how in Convention of States, we're really focused on self-governance. And folks, we think Americans for Prosperity is certainly an organization that we agree with. We work together on a lot of things. So I think self-governance is what you're all about too, right, Graham?
Immensely. It needs to be self-governance. Otherwise, our Constitution might not survive.
Okay. All right. Great. Graham, thank you so much for coming on this evening. And congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
Thank you so much, Dale. And I just want to say I appreciate all the work you do here in the state of Indiana on behalf of Convention of States. And just keep up the good work, and let us know how we can work with you in the future, and really enjoy always talking to you.
All right. Thanks, Graham. Have a good evening, bud.
Yes, have a good night.
All right, Graham Reambar, a very nice young man, doing a lot for his organization. Like I said, Americans for Prosperity is an organization that we have a good relationship with, and we help each other, and we're on the same page. Let me just put it that way. So I think enjoyed having him on tonight. All right, let me move on to our next segment here, and I want to bring up my PowerPoint real quick here. And in order to get you a good view of this PowerPoint, I'm going to implement the slideshow option. So there you should have, your screen should be have the slides showing very clearly on your screen. As Maringo Mike said, our vision statement here in Indiana is to build a Hoosier grassroots community of citizens and legislators, and that's state legislators, dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. You're going to hear us talk about self-governance a great deal. Now, we have two mission objectives, two objectives that if we accomplish these objectives, it'll bring us closer to realizing that vision statement. And that's, of course, to meet with all of our state legislators, our assigned ones, as well as the ones we consider targeted legislators. Make sure they know about Convention of States, make sure they still support us. If they're new and they don't know about Convention of States, then we need to educate them. So it's maintaining the relationship with our state legislators. The next objective is to grow the grassroots, just like Graham, his job with Americans for Prosperity. we're trying to do the same thing, grow the grassroots. And I'll have some numbers here in just a very bit on this, but we're on track. Our goal for 2020 is to hit 52,000 supporters, and we're on track to get that accomplished. So some resources that are available to us here in Indiana. Our main website, conventionofstates.com. You're going to hear us make reference to this website from time to time, but it is the main national website, a wealth of information there, and that would be the first thing you do to get involved in Convention of States is go to this national website, open an account, and become a supporter. Now, embedded in that national website is our state website page, conventionofstates.com/Indiana. Obviously, a more focused look on the state. We're on Facebook. We have a state Facebook page, Convention of States Indiana. As a matter of fact, this broadcast is coming to you through that state Facebook page, Convention of States Indiana. YouTube channel. I mentioned this earlier. Now, the YouTube channel that we have, COS Indiana, is very much an educational resource, but it's now looks like it's going to be give you the ability to live stream this broadcast. So we're very, very excited about that. We have some people watching that this evening, and they're going to let me know if it's working out very well. So COS Indiana is our YouTube channel. Now we've got narrated PowerPoints on there. We have recordings of these broadcasts that we do here. We also have links to a podcast that our legislative liaison, Paul Phillips, the gentleman that said hi to Graham, does. It's called the Free to Be Free podcast. Paul does a great job, and we have links on the YouTube channel to all of his podcasts. I really encourage you to look at those. Other platforms, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and some others that I don't even have listed here. So if you're into social media, you should not have any trouble finding us and being able to connect with us through social media. Some quick numbers. 2019, we went over 41,000 supporters, been growing at a tremendous rate. And as we mentioned, our goal for 2020 is 52,000, and we are on track to reach that goal. We have about 80 individuals in leadership positions here in the state in various roles. So about 80 individuals in leadership positions. Now, here, if you want to get involved in Convention of States here in Indiana, go to that national website, conventionofstates.com, open an account, click on the menu selection, Take Action. Scroll down to where it says Become a Leader and look at the different volunteer positions that we have here in the state. If one's of interest to you, open it up, read about it. If you're very interested in it, go ahead and make application. You're not obligated in any way, but what that does then is your name comes up on a report every day, and that I see as well as a few others. One of us will be in contact with you to discuss that position. Now, when you look at these positions, I want to stress to you, every position has a different time commitment. And you're the only one that knows how much time you have to devote. So please be sure you look at that and select the position that best suits your schedule and your ability and the amount of time that you can commit to Convention of States. All right. I just want to mention here the Convention of States basics. And I would encourage you to go again to the national website, conventionofstates.com, click on the menu selection Resources, and there's a wealth of information there on that page concerning the basics. And the basics are going to be the problem, the solution, and the plan. We define the problem that we see with the federal government, the different abuses, The solution, of course, is a calling for a convention of states according to Article 5 of the Constitution for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution that would address the abuses that we define and identify in defining the problem. And then you're going to see and learn about the plan that we have to bring this about. So we won't go into any other details this evening at this time, but I would encourage you to go to that national website, conventionofstates.com, click on the menu selection resources, and take a look and educate yourself on the basics of Convention of States. All right, let me back out of here and put that down into the lobby. So in this section now, this segment, let's see who's on joining us tonight. Well, I see Jerry Rowe is, hi all, Indiana in the house. Jerry is one of our systems information analysts here in Convention of States. And here is Susan Lyon. Now Susan is the individual that's watching us on YouTube, and she's testing, seeing if our YouTube streaming test is working out. And she says she's enjoying the COS Indiana live stream. So sounds to me like it's working. All right, glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Now we had Paul on here earlier, said welcome to Graham. I'll put him up there again. Okay. And this individual, Mark, this is one of our new district captains. Mark is actually still in training, but may have completed it by now. But he is one of our newest district captains. So we'll probably have him on as a guest on here one of these days. So very, very, very great, very good. Retired military, I might mention, and going to be a great district captain. I'm not sure who this individual is, but whoever it is saying hi, Graham. So must be someone else that knows who Graham is. And let's see who else. We got anybody else on here that hasn't already been mentioned? Oh, now Graham, you may know this individual too. I see you smiling, Graham. Okay, I was hoping he was going to get on here tonight and say hi to you. So there's another individual from Convention of States that knows Graham. So, like I said, we've worked with Americans for Prosperity for some time now. So a number of our people know Graham. So good. I'm glad Gary got on. Okay. And I think this individual, this might be our state communications coordinator, Ken Kashuba, checking in just to make sure we know that he's on tonight. So a lot of viewers tonight. Glad to see that. That is very, very impressive. I'm glad to see people tuning in. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, let's bring it in then for our final segment this evening. And before I get into the final comments this evening, I want to mention to you that next Monday evening will be our next broadcast, 7 p.m. of course, and we have a very special guest coming in next evening, next Monday, and that's going to be Jenny Rapini. Now, those of you in Convention of States recognize that name. Jenny, as a matter of fact, is our national grassroots director, Graham, and for Convention of States. And Jenny has been with Convention of States for many years. One of the first ones in our organization, as a matter of fact. So Jenny has graciously given us some time and is going to be our guest on Convention of States next Monday evening. So I want to wrap things up then this evening with my favorite quote, and this comes from our president, Mark Meckler. Mark says, you know, that there is a fundamental question facing our country today, and that question is not what should we do. The question really is who decides? Who will decide? So it's a two-word question, very simply, who decides? And we in Convention of States, we believe we, the people, should be making, have a greater say-so in the decisions going on in this country. And folks, if you're watching the news at all, and if you're following what's happening in our country today, I think you will understand and realize that we have some really important issues to solve in this country, to work on, and these are issues that Washington D.C. is not going to solve, or our state government's not going to solve. These are issues that we, the people, are going to have to solve, and we are the ones to make these decisions, I believe. So that means getting involved. That means self-governance. That means exercising your freedom and right to self-govern. So as we say, the question very simply is who decides, and we believe it is we the people. So with that, that's a wrap for tonight. Thank you all for joining us this evening, and look forward to seeing you again next Monday evening, 7 p.m. And if you want to join us on our YouTube stream, feel free to do that. We will be continuing to do that, and hopefully we'll pick up even more viewers that perhaps find that to be a better option. So with that said, I want to say good night to everyone. Have a good evening. Good night. All right. Thanks, Graham. Thank you. Thank you.